In a world where bullies are everywhere, my next guest is a light in the darkness. When he was 7 years old, someone in his class started making fun of his sister who has Down syndrome. His response? He wrote letters to everyone in his class saying something kind about each of them. The bully kid apologized, and now they're friends. And now he and his mom run a nonprofit called Kindness Squad. He's here today to talk about how kindness is actually contagious. The small but mighty, human proof kindness still can be currency. Silas Scauzillo. Did I say your last name right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, yes. Winning. Good. I'm so glad. So what's going on over there, Joe Rogan? You're looking like mighty professional in the podcast. Your hat matches your wall treatment. It looks good.
Oh, yeah.
So how old are you now, Silas?
I just turned 11 about a month ago-ish.
And how old is your sister, Gianna?
She is 7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
So back when you were Gianna's age, this all happened. You were in the 2nd grade. So tell me what happened and kind of tell me what was going on in your head at that time.
Well, when this kid said something rude about Gianna, I was kind of just shocked. I mean, no one's ever really said anything like what he said about her. So I was kind of just shocked, but I didn't respond with, violence, I guess. Like, I didn't want to hurt him or anything. I guess I kind of just kept my anger inside and waited till we got out of lunch. It was in lunch.
And then what happened? How did you come to the conclusion that instead of punching him in the throat, you were going to write a nice note to him and everyone else?
Well, I think it was actually the next day when I got home from school that day, I told my parents about it. And then, did you guys have the idea or did I have the idea? Well, who had the idea?
I think it was just happened through conversation.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out how to change the tone of the conversation.
So kind of a brainstorm together.
Yeah, kind of get our point across that it's not cool.
Yeah.
Basically.
So how did you know that was going to work?
Well, we didn't. We definitely didn't.
I had asked the teacher permission as well if we could leave the card and the message on their desk before school started. And of course she was totally okay with that. So I guess we all just kind of hoped for the best, and it ended up working out exactly how we would have wanted, really.
Yeah.
So you put the cards on the desk. So tell me, what were you thinking at that time? Were you nervous? Were you thinking...
Honestly, I was kind of excited. Sorry, I just interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good. You were excited. Why were you excited?
I just wanted to see everyone's reaction when they opened their note.
Yeah. We didn't make it a point to, take it as, a teachable moment. We didn't say, this happened, so we're doing this. The whole situation, I think, was a little bit more private between him and the student, or 2 students. And then the teacher came up with her idea on how to, correct it. But we just figured, why don't we just, kill him with kindness? So, and that's kind of what led to, and he just kind of wrote, I like the way you color your hair. He just wrote, different things about everyone in the class, especially kids that he wasn't necessarily even that close to, friend-wise, but it still gave him an opportunity to say acknowledge something about everybody in the class, and I think it kind of threw a few of them off.
Oh, I bet it did. I bet they were shocked.
Yeah.
Silas, have you ever heard of something called cancel culture?
No.
Daddy keeps saying that, actually.
Yeah. So it's this weird thing that some mostly grown-ups do, where if someone does something that they don't like instead of having, as your mom just said, a private moment between the two of you to work things out, or maybe an act of kindness to change the atmosphere of, you know, a classroom or a workplace, they would maybe make a video of this person being unkind and put it online and shame them and say, look at this person, all of you should not be friends with them because they're a big fat jerk. In fact, go punch them in the throat. Like, that's what cancel culture is. It's where you just, one person does something you don't like, and you just, in a sense,
ruin their whole life.
You nailed it, kid. You nailed it. Yeah, exactly. So what I love about what you did is it's so opposite of that, and it's really what's missing in the world. When you did that, though, how aware was your sister of what you were doing?
Well, not aware at all.
Yeah, she wasn't even at the school yet. So, but she's known. I mean, with his dad being a teacher at the school, you know, we're up there a lot, so she's no secret. So everybody definitely knows who she is. And I think this particular student knew a little bit more about her through an outside group that he was in. And so he was definitely more aware of her. So that's why it stung a little bit more. It wasn't just like somebody saying like, your mama, like, it felt more personal because he did know who she was, even though she wasn't at the school. He knew who she was.
And you said some of the classmates were just shocked that, you know, you wrote them this note. What about the kid that kind of said the mean things? What was his reaction? It was a guy, it was a boy?
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
Gosh, it was so long ago. Probably kind of shocked.
Do you talk to him a lot?
Not really, no.
No, so I was kind of wrong when I said y'all were friends.
Well,
A little bit. I mean,
I haven't really talked to the kid, and
I think you guys separated in classrooms. I don't think you guys, they weren't in the same like class anymore after that.
But safe to say you're certainly not enemies anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, what do you,
Be free.
now with the kindness squad, you do lots of random acts of kindness like this. They're not all random, but lots of acts of kindness. What, as an 11-year-old, I am dying to know what, a super cool 11-year-old, what do you hope to accomplish with the kindness squad?
Well, can I say it?
Okay. I don't know.
We want to selflessly enrich the lives. Selflessly enrich the lives of others.
I love it.
That's our mission statement.
Oh, is that why you're asking your mom if you could say it? Because you had just come up with it. That's pretty good. I like it. That's a pretty good mission statement. If Kindness Squad was like a superhero team, kind of like the Incredibles or the Justice League, what would your superpower be?
Well, make people kind.
Make people like wave a magic wand and then they're kind.
You create some smiles and some joy.
Well, our mission is to spread kindness. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, what are some of the other ways that you're? Yeah, right. That would be great, and that would be very, satisfying if someone was mean to you at the grocery store and you could just do those like hands, and then all of a sudden they would be kind to you and like buy you chocolates or something. That's how I prefer kindness, in the form of chocolate. So, I'm a little biased. So who else would you want on your magical team? If you were a superhero team, who else would you want to be a part of that?
Dwayne Johnson.
I knew it. And tell me why, Silas.
'Cause he's cool.
He is cool. And Andy's kind.
And Andy's kind. And since he's so famous, if he was kind, then more people would want to be kind because he's super famous.
Yes, that's so true.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that you can be very influential and not be super famous, because think of all the influence that you have. I mean, I am meeting you, and that's because of somebody that, you know, used to work with your kindergarten teacher, listens to the show. Shout out to Sandra Goodwin. And she told me all about you, and she's like, oh my gosh, you got to meet this kid. You got to meet his mom. So it's not just about meeting you, but it's because of what you do in your acts. So, which actually leads me to my next question. You've heard the question, like, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? Everybody asks that, and I still want to know that. But I'm more concerned in, have you ever thought about who you want to be when you grow up? What kind of person? If you could describe an ideal adult version of you, what would that look like?
Oh boy.
If you give me a good answer, maybe I'll like talk to your English teacher and we can give you essay credit for this.
Gosh.
Okay, well, think about, I'm very like entrepreneurial, so we've always talked about like we should create this, or we should do this, or we should open this. So there was one thing that you really wanted.
Oh yeah. When I was littler,
Maybe don't talk to his English teacher.
Okay. 10-4.
When I was littler, if that's not a word, is it? Anyways, when I was younger,
Okay.
we were at a indoor playground, and when we were driving home, right? We had the idea that we wanted to make one of these indoor playgrounds specifically designed for kids with disabilities.
Yeah.
And I still want to do that. I just don't know how to.
But you're 11, so.
But I guess I'm 11, so I really can't do that.
We just started to realize there wasn't a lot of safe environments and places for us to go as a family, so that everybody could just like enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And a place where you could go and not feel like you have to say, oh, sorry, like, you know, for maybe some behavior that was happening or whatever the case may be, or like taking a little bit longer to get up the steps on the playground, like something like that. So,
or maybe instead of adding steps, like a ramp for people with wheelchairs.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
that's a great idea. And I shared with you.
Should we not have shared that, actually?
Yeah, right? Well, I think that it's more doable than you might think. I shared with you before, my brother had cerebral palsy. And when we were little kids, my aunt took us to a very special playground in Omaha, Nebraska that is exactly what you're describing. Now, I don't know how many sensory adaptations it had or that sort of thing. But from our family's perspective, it was awesome because he got to roll his wheelchair up onto a swing, and he got to swing while still being in his wheelchair. So he didn't have to transfer out of his wheelchair in order to be in the swing. So to answer your question, dear sir, how you make that is, well, you've already done the first step. You have an idea. And the second idea is you become an engineer. Because they're the people that design some of these things. And then there's also the advocacy part, the political part, where local governments pay to have these sorts of things built. So you are already doing the advocacy part, and you've already had the idea. So I think you are well on your way to be someone who not only creates cool playgrounds, but maybe you'll create cool other things too. So that's the great thing about who you are. So you don't need to be The Rock. You can be Silas. Have you ever heard of something, a brain chemical called serotonin?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I know you and I have talked a little bit before about kindness being contagious, and that's, as you said, the mission of your nonprofit. And I thought, because you're like a pretty smart 11-year-old, that you might be interested to know that serotonin is the chemical that your brain spits out when you either do something nice for someone else or you witness something else being done nice for someone else. And it makes you feel good inside, makes you happy. People even, some grown-ups even take pills to try to have more serotonin in their brain. That's how much we love serotonin. So you are already creating that in other people. So my question for you is, and I asked this earlier and then I got a little derailed with the superhero talk. I'm easily distracted, so thanks for just sticking with me. What are some of the other things that you want to do with Kindness Squad? Like, what are some of the other projects that you have going on this year?
Well, we have a thing that we just started called Kindness Cash.
Ooh.
And basically, we didn't do nominations, did we?
No, so
we
the first one we did, and now this year we're rolling it out. The news.
So are we doing, we like just came up with this like maybe a month ago.
Okay.
So I don't even know everything about it.
What happened was Silas was nominated for, through another nonprofit with the same mission of spreading kindness and the ripple effect that it can cause. And so what this organization does is they try to help you fund maybe a project you're working on currently, or just like, you're awesome, here's something for yourself, like, and treat yourself for everything that you've been doing for other people. So he was like overly nominated, and so he got a monetary gift, and now that kind of gave both of us a little bit of confidence that like, wow, what we're doing is really actually affecting people, because we got to read what all these people wrote about him as they nominated him. And just having that extra boost of confidence like got us to really focus on like, let's really like run with this. And now we want to be able to do that for other actually youth. Like our focus, I think, is going to be for the younger generation. And so we did happen to come across a 6-year-old little girl, and we chose her to be our first Kindness Cash recipient, and we surprised her with a check. And
was it $200?
A $200 check, yeah. And we also help support her cause that she's working towards. And then so for this year, we want to hear about all the stories and all the other kids that are touching everybody else's lives in their communities, and spread our mission even further as well. So yeah, we're going to offer everybody to send in nominations quarterly. So we should be able to do like 4 a year. And we can recognize all the hard work that other kids are doing also around the world.
That's such a good idea. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Because that spreads it even more.
Her ripple effect is, we're taking that and we want to, respect what she did and then continue it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Have you had any interaction with other people in the community of families that have members with Down syndrome, or what does that look like for you and your family?
Well, Gianna goes to, what would you call it? The dance studio, yeah. Yeah, but, well, she's in a dance class with other kids.
We kind of started. It was hard for us to find a class for our girls at that age, because they would typically already have been dancing on maybe a couple years already. But our local community, we got together and we found a dance studio that would accept our girls and work with them. So we kind of started our own dance class with all of our girls with Down syndrome, and then other kids with disabilities started to join in as well.
Okay, so I guess
so she was at that.
And a special needs dance class?
Yeah, it's kind of like a special needs dance class.
I was just trying to find the
creative
word.
We call it creative movements.
And you said with all of our girls with Down syndrome.
And then she's in actually a full inclusion dance class as well.
And you said with all of our girls with Down syndrome. So what do you mean by that?
It seems like in our county, like it's like a group of 10 and older, and then there was like a whole group that was like all of our girls were the same age that have Down syndrome. So our parents got together, and
The parents.
the parents got together and then said, like, let's get our girls in dance and let's figure out how we can, get them to interact with each other as well, because there's really like one student with Downs like in every school. Like, we're all like scattered around, so we were like, it'd be cool to get them to come together. And our local Down syndrome organization is building and growing, so there should be more community events and things so that we can all get together also and share what we got going on. And
yeah, that community makes a big difference. And for you, Silas, what's something really cool about having a sister with Down syndrome?
Well, we don't get into as much fights as normal siblings do. Like, one of my friends gets into like fist fights with his sibling.
don't say any names.
I'm not gonna say any names. But me and Gianna, if we do fight, it's just kind of like, stop it!
Yeah.
No!
And what's something that's hard about having a sibling with Down syndrome?
Well, I guess it just takes a lot of patience with her. Doctor's appointments in Orlando quite often.
Yeah, it's a lot of driving, a lot of traffic.
Not quite. I wouldn't say often anymore, really.
Yeah, well, she just had her second open heart surgery, so.
Yeah, that was a while ago, though.
That was in March. Yeah, almost a year ago. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
So things should finally maybe slow down a little bit, but yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I really am excited about what you're doing. And can you tell everyone about the kindness cards?
Oh, well, good job, Mom. We came prepared.
Woohoo! Yay, Mom. Mom win.
Basically, there's the card, if you can see it without the glare.
Okay, cool.
So you would write your name right here in this little area. It says Kindness Ambassador. It's just really hard to see it.
Oh, okay. I see it. Perfect.
So that's the front.
Let me talk.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know.
And then on the back, you're supposed to write a kind message.
Okay.
And then you would either like directly give it to someone or leave it somewhere for someone random to find.
Oh, okay. And so it's like a way to spread kindness.
Yeah.
I love that.
What did you just do at the dance studio with the bags that you made? The blessing bags?
Oh, yeah. We do I say the name?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so Encore Dance Academy. Wait, I thought it was performance.
Yeah, and then they have a nonprofit Encore Performance Company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we kind of partnered up with them, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we made these things called blessing bags. And it was basically just filled with... I've been saying basically a lot. It was basically just filled with just little things like health and hygiene, snacks.
Yeah.
And who do you give those
socks?
to?
Yeah, there were socks in there. And then they all like wrote an inspirational quote on the cards. And then we included that in the bags. And then we dropped it off to our school board organization that they were doing, like a health and hygiene drive for low-income kids that needed a little extra help. So
that's awesome.
It's kind of cool that like the kids get to work with kids.
Yes, I really like that. And you know what? That leads me to my last question, and it's what are 3 ways that people, kids included, could be grown-ups too. You know, we can learn a lot as a grown-up from kids, that we can be kind. So number 1 is we can hand out kindness cards. So what are 2 more ways that we can be make kindness contagious?
Okay, well, kindness cards. saying nice things. I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And
I forgot the question.
three ways that you could spread kindness and make kindness contagious.
Oh, okay.
There's kindness cards, saying nice things, and what's the third one?
Well, you know what? Maybe our listeners can think of a third one, and maybe
Yeah.
they can
Yes,
message
thank
you and tell you what they think, and then you'll have this whole folder of ideas of how to be kind. So let's tell everyone how they can find your organization online and keep up with all the cool stuff you're doing.
Okay, so our Facebook page is PLG Kindness Squad.
Okay.
And then we have an Instagram, but we haven't really started doing things on there.
Okay, so Facebook is the best way for right now.
Yes, Facebook.
And I'll be sure to put the links to all of those Facebook, in my email that everyone gets at the end of the week where this airs. That way they can easily connect with you. They can maybe buy some kindness cards to spread over their community. So that'll be great. Is there any final thoughts that you want to leave us with before we wrap it up?
Well, I do soon, probably, hopefully soon, want to start making Kindness Squad merchandise.
Ooh, merch.
Like shirts, maybe hats. Probably just shirts to start off.
I like that. I
And
think
we'll
that's
see
a
how
great
that
idea.
does. And yeah.
Since this idea all stemmed from kindness shown to us through Down syndrome and having a heart defect and kind of meeting new people through that way, it started off as Peace, Love, Gianna, and that's how we spread awareness. And then that's how we also were sharing and we were holding ourselves accountable to share our acts of kindness that we were doing every day through her Facebook group page. So our website is also peacelovegianna.com.
PLG,
And then
Peace,
there's
Love, Gianna.
also a whole section on the Kindness Squad specifically. So that's also like another good place to go to keep up with what we got going on.
All right. Well, I love it. I'll make sure that I put all that in the notes and all that in the episode description. So thank you all so much, Silas, Amanda.
It's an honor, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a wrap. Woo.